in. My name is Megan, and today we are going to be diving into a free training on how I've been helping hundreds of frontline professionals lose up to 40 pounds in 16 weeks. And this is without extreme diets, working out every single day, or completely removing food groups. And inside of this training, I'll be giving you a simple 3-pillar process that I use for my clients. That way it gives you a really good breakdown on how I do it. Alright, so again, here I am. My name is Megan Habina. I'm the CEO of Valkyrie Fitness and Nutrition. I have a combined 15 years with law enforcement and military, and I had to learn how to lose 30 pounds twice after gaining weight post-training academies. So the first time it happened was after basic training. I went through, this was straight out of high school, and I ended up putting on about 30 pounds, right, as we started transitioning away from exercising every day, right? So you go through your typical basic training, and after that you go into advanced individual training, and then during that time, we weren't training as intensely, so I started popping on a bunch of weight, and then I was able to lose it as I got out. Luckily, I was still in my early 20s, so it was pretty simple then. But then a few years later, I joined a state police academy, and again went through the same issue where we were constantly working out, and I was eating pretty much whatever I wanted, and then transitioning into a station with other people that were working with me, and we were ordering food out. So again, packed on that 30 pounds, and this time it was not as easy to lose, and it was a lot harder because of just the environment I was working, the shifts, the overtime. We were changing from day shift to night shift every 2 weeks. So for me, it was a really difficult process, and today I'm going to kind of dive into that. And who I specialize in helping is frontline professionals. So if you're healthcare, public safety, firefighters, corrections, education, transport, utilities, and sometimes I even work with those in aviation, just because, again, you know, flying back and forth, having long shifts. So I teach them how to lose up to 40 pounds by implementing my proven system, and really teaching them without feeling like they need to work out more and eat less. That's a really big portion inside of my program, is just knowing that you don't need to kill yourself in order to see results, and that's a really big thing that I see is a struggle for a lot of people. Alright, so today I'm going to show you exactly how I can install my Fit for Life formula into your life to start dropping your next 5 to 40 pounds, whatever you need to lose in the next 16 weeks or less. So the goal here today is to show you exactly how I do this, how I implement it, what I show clients. That way you can walk away knowing exactly the start process all the way to the end. Now this is for you if you are a frontline professional, you're working long hours per week. Even I've worked with people who aren't considered frontline professionals, but they're like, I have an extremely crazy schedule and I just need to start losing weight. And you're ready to stop basically running those quick fix diets. Maybe you're trying to jump into workouts that aren't even fitting into your schedule. Maybe you've tried like group classes, you tried videotapes, you tried apps, you tried going to in-person training and it's just not working, and essentially just help you to reach your goals. And what you really want to is a proven system that has been implemented by hundreds of others in your exact position, okay? I've worked with people that worked 40 hours a week. I've worked with people that have worked 70 to 80 hours, and I've worked with people up to 100 hours a week implement these exact strategies to start seeing weight loss because it works for them, right? And that's the whole point here, is to find something that's essentially going to work for you in your routine, in your life, and even in your profession. And this is for you if you want to achieve consistent weight loss, right? Get stronger, feel more confident. You want to lose inches off your waist in the next few weeks. Because I always tell people, right, we want to make sure it's a good implementation process. It's going to be something that you can actually do long-term and sustainable, because that's going to really get you to seeing those results so much faster. Alright, so a little bit about me real quick. I'm going to dive into my journey a few times here, but, started here and at 120 and then jumped up to 150, right? Right out of high school, joined the military. It was amazing, right? Went in, was feeling super fit, super awesome, but throughout the process of basic training, I was just eating as much as possible in that very short amount of time that was allotted for us. So as I was going through and as we were transitioning to more of a classroom style, more sitting and less exercising, I started to put on a lot of weight, and it became very apparent as I left basic. My family goes, "Wow, you put on some weight there." It's like, yeah, I sure did. I was eating like biscuits, and we were in the South too, so I was eating biscuits and gravy and putting like peanut butter on everything, and was just like kind of stuck in that process. And because it was the first time this has ever happened to me before, I wasn't really sure how to do it. So after I got out of basic and AIT, I went right over to like those 1,200 calorie diets where I was just exercising a lot and really under eating. Still partying because I was going out with like friends in college. So I was like getting skinny, but I wasn't really feeling like strong. I didn't feel good. I ended up being able to put on some weight. Throughout the process too, because I went through a few more other academies as well, a couple of law enforcement academies, a class 1 and a class 2, and I got up to 135. And then as you can see, I dropped back down to 120, and that was with a live-in state police academy. And I lost so much weight because from morning to night we were literally exercising nonstop. So I was able to, again, it was Monday through Friday, we lived there, pretty much eat whatever they gave us. And when we weren't allowed to eat, that's when I really dropped a bunch of weight. Fast forward after, I got onto the road and packed on some weights because we were sitting in the car. I was pulling close to 16-hour days because we had to get to the station an hour before. When you were a new trooper, you had to get there an hour before. Then you had to be at your shift the whole time for 12 hours, and usually you had, depending on where you were stationed, an hour drive to and from the location. So, you're getting up on day shifts around 4 a.m., getting home sometimes around 7 or 8, just depending if you got stuck late. So, ordering out, eating what the guys were eating, I just wasn't able to figure out a good scenario or a good basically roadmap for myself yet, and how I could just drop this weight back down, because it took me quite some time to lose the weight. So during those years, right, like I said, completed basic AIT, top performing in my unit after I lost all that weight. I was still kind of skinny, but I was able to at least score over 300. And I usually try to aim for the male standards. I wasn't feeling super fit. I wasn't looking super fit. I was feeling like mostly skinny. That's when I went to a class 1 academy, right? I did my class 2 academy. I was actually able to become a leader thanks to my military training. And then I was accepted into the state police academy and completed a 6-month live-in, right? Over 300 people were in there, and then less than 150 graduated because of the difficulty in that academy. So my body has been through the ringer. So my journey, right, is during my time in law enforcement and military, I had to learn how to adapt to my weird schedules, right? Like I said, and this might be you too, where you are essentially might be working days and then you're working nights, and then you have to transition back, or you're working nights and then you have to get back into a routine because your family might be on, like a day routine. So I had to really learn how to understand what would work for when I worked on nights, and then versus when I was working on days. Essentially too, like pulling overtime, right? So on other days that I might be working nights, then I have an overtime where it was a day shift. So again, my sleep schedule was off, my eating schedule was off, and my workout schedule was off. So all of that really didn't help me at all in terms of putting on weight. And I was active, right? I was still like trying to be active. I just didn't like the way my body composition was looking. I just felt like soft in areas, and I just didn't feel strong like I used to after getting out. And I also learned too, because I couldn't train how I wanted to, right? I was limited on time. I didn't have like what we all do when we're like in our high school 20s, 30s, all of that. I didn't have the time like I did before. So I had to learn to adapt to that limited time. And I kept running back to super low calories and diets, and again, wasn't super proud of my body composition because of that. I was under eating, It was affecting my training. I was already trying to balance a bunch of other things, so it just wasn't working out for what I envisioned myself to be. So in 2019, I finally discovered macros and essentially fixed my workouts. Like, I figured out how to make it work for me. So I wasn't in bad shape. Like, you know what I mean? When I was in 2019, I wasn't in awful shape. But for me, I wasn't like feeling strong. I wasn't seeing that muscle definition. I wasn't feeling like proud of myself and my lifts and all of that. So in 70 days, I was able to completely transition what I was looking and feeling like before over to someone who's feeling really strong, confident. My clothes were fitting better. I was performing better in my workouts. I felt better when I was at work, when I had to actually put hands on people. I didn't feel like I was weak, and all that other stuff that usually happens with those low calorie diets. Alright, so let me give you all of the tools you will ever need in terms of how to get results. So right now, I'm going to show you exactly how to reach your goals without having to give up carbs, right? To do keto, intermittent fasting, drink those special drinks that everyone wants to sell you, do a cleanse, or be on the Stairmaster for 45 minutes in order to see results. Because for you right now, I want you to understand it's time to change your mindset around your fitness journey. Once this finally happened for me, it was like a switch that just clicked over, right? Once I finally understood my nutrition, once I finally understood how to create my workouts for the body type that I wanted, it was a complete game changer. I didn't feel like I had to diet. Like, I constantly always felt like I needed to be on some sort of diet. And once I shifted that mindset around fitness, around nutrition, around the thought process of having to beat myself into the ground like I had to do in these academies to look in shape, it shifted something inside me, and it really has helped me over the years, and it's helped other clients as well to just transition out of that thought process. Alright, because here is the old way, right? Here's what most end up doing, and this could be you. And that's okay. Like, the goal here inside of this training right now is to push you away from that and to show you a new path on how to become fit and healthy and strong, right? Maybe you keep going back to what you think works or what you lost weight in the past. I hear that a lot. I lost weight doing X, Y, and Z. I'm going to go back to do that. I'm like, okay, now, is that something that you can do forever? If the answer is no, then that's not something that's going to actually work for you long term. And this could be keto, intermittent fasting, maybe running every single day, and it could be for miles and miles on end because you think it's going to help you lose more fat. Pills, you pretty much fill in the blank here. So the old way too is maybe doing free workout challenges, workout videos on YouTube, downloading the latest workout app. And the reason I say this is because if you keep doing this stuff and you're not super happy about your results, then that's not working, right? That's not working for you. It's not working for how you envision yourself. And essentially my goal for you is to show you, right, the right way of doing things, so that way you can walk away and be like, wow, I can see the muscle definition. Wow, I'm losing so many inches off my waist, and I'm not having to kill myself like I have done in the past and say no to this, that, and the other thing. So if you are currently doing those things, a lot of times this is a thought process, right? I got a little funny little cat here. It's you feel like you have to keep starting over. Maybe that's a process for you. And I used to be like that too, right? I used to keep thinking ooh, I messed up this week on my diet. I'll just forget about it until Monday and then start again. And then I make it to Wednesday, and then I mess up, and then I would start again the following Monday, so on and so forth, until it just kept feeling like I was starting over. And it just was not a good way around food. It wasn't a good way around exercise. And like I said before, I was in the thought process of being in shape meant essentially torturing yourself, right? Oh, you can't eat this, you can't eat that, you have to exercise for 2 hours a day, things like that. Another thing too, if you're someone that keeps saying I'm on a diet, but you're not feeling you're not ever getting to the results that you want, then that's not a positive way to be looking at your fitness journey. Or maybe you think that super intense workouts are the way to see results, right? We don't have to go all out all the time. You can do very minimal workouts in order to see results. And maybe you keep following a strict meal plan to see weight loss, and you think that's the only way to do it, right? So when I say strict meal plan, it's like, egg whites for breakfast, chicken and salad for lunch, and then you're having salmon, a potato, and like maybe asparagus for dinner. You have to think, like, is this something that I can do for the rest of my life? And if the answer is no, then it's going to be really difficult to stick with. And then after you get done that program or that diet, and you go back to doing things like you were doing before without actually learning how to manipulate the foods and the training into your life, then you're going to feel like this little cat here when you're super motivated to start your diet, but by the time you get lunch, you regret your whole life, right? When you're just like, like this sounded really good on Saturday, and now it's Monday and I have to do it, and I don't want to do it anymore. All right, so here's the issue, right? Like I kind of pointed that out. You're not going to eat or train like that forever. So don't put yourself through the torture of a 6-week intense program and diet just for you to get done. You have you might lose weight. Like, you probably will lose weight. You probably might even see some results. But following the next few weeks, months, years, if you can't stick with that, or you do try to stick with it, eventually you'll plateau because it's really hard for your body to maintain something like that consistently, right? That's the issue. And most of the time, too, the workouts might actually help you the way you want. So depending on your goals, you could be training incorrectly. So for someone that wants to build strength, if they're training, like, let's say someone that is really big into HIIT training, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to put up more weight, let's say on their bench press, on their deadlift, than it would be if they were more concerned on endurance training. And again, if you haven't learned how to do it after the diet or the program was over, then essentially you're just constantly in that diet mode, right? You live diet to diet. And you might even feel frustrated on how your body's looking even after the diet. You're like, okay, I just busted my butt eating all these salads for the past 6 to 8 weeks, and I'm not even super happy about my body composition, right? So that can be a really big issue. All right, so here is inside of the Fit Frontliner Elite Partnership Program. This is my one-on-one program where I help frontline professionals, those working 12-hour shifts, really dive in and essentially, get all the elements inside of the program that they need. It might be mindset. I'm going to teach them nutrition. I'm going to give them out a fitness plan, personalized basically to your lifestyle, right? For you, for what you need, your schedule. Could be the equipment you have, your time available, and essentially get you to doing this stuff so that way you can lose, 3 to 5 inches off your waist. You can drop, 5, 10, 15, 40 pounds, whatever your goals are, while increasing energy, feeling stronger, more rested, basically more confident, happy in your own skin, and then also understanding, like, this is something that you can actually implement forever because this is something that I do and this is something that my clients are able to do as well, right? Because the goal here is for you to get the results and then keep the results for life. So inside of it, right, is my fat burner blueprint. So step 1, this is what we essentially do. It all starts with learning how to manipulate the foods, essentially for your goals without sabotaging your results. Because at the end of the day, you're going to eat cake. You're going to have pasta. You're going to have whiskey, wine, beer, whatever it might be. You're going to go out to parties. You're going to go to dinner with your significant other. You're going to do X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, if that doesn't fit into your diet, right, then you feel like you might be cheating or off plan. Inside of the Fat Burner Blueprint, I'm going to teach you how to do that stuff. I'm going to show you the exact process that I've learned over the years that has taught me to learn how to intuitively eat. So inside of the Fat Burner Blueprint, I'm going to do the exact same thing. Step 2 would be the Goal Body Bundle, right? So essentially with this, I give you the option, right? So in terms of time, I have clients even working out as little as 10 minutes a day who've lost inches off their waist, they've lost weight, they've completely changed their body composition because we tied it into step number 1. Step number 1 is very important. So essentially what I do is map out your body bundle based on time, the equipment available. That way you can start seeing noticeable toning and slimming all over without having to worry about finding equipment at the gym. You do this at home, you can do this at the park. I have clients doing hybrid programs. I have them working in pools. It could be, I've had entire military units that I've helped train because I had a client that was leading a company. So essentially giving you the tools to be successful, to learn how to do it, and to essentially give you the option, whatever that might be. Step 3 is essentially a lifestyle recalibration with my Fit for Life formula. I want you to get results and keep them after your program is over. So I'm going to teach you how to maintain long-term health and fitness success. So inside of my program, you get access to, I have ebooks that are on a link type form, so that way you always get the updates when I update them. You get new success plans inside of the lifetime course. You get new mindset tips every couple weeks that when we go over mindset. Even when your program is over, you'll have access to all these new updates. That way you can learn to build your own workouts. I have a module on exactly how to break down your own nutrition, so that way you get done, you don't need me, you don't need another trainer. You have the exact formula to do it on your own and walk away with it and say, I can do this on my own. You can even teach other people, right? My whole process is giving to others, helping people as much as I can. So essentially teaching you how to do it is going to, pass the buck, give it to somebody else, and show them how to do it as well. So the benefits inside of this 3-pillar process, right? You basically say no to like those quick fix diets. I'm not a person that wants you to try to lose, 30 pounds in a month and then put it back on the following month, right? That's not going to work. It's not going to work for you. It's not going to have you feeling very confident after that happens, and it's also going to just mess up your relationship with food and fitness, right? You could say no to feeling weak in workouts. When I was on a 1,200 calorie diet or less, whatever, like I really pushed myself to the limit in some of these diets. I was feeling really weak. I almost felt like hungover all the time because I didn't fuel my body the proper way. And if you're someone that needs to pass a PT test, trying to pass a PT test with workouts that maybe don't even work, right? You keep trying to follow a program and you keep, failing by a few minutes or a few seconds inside of that. Guessing on how to eat, doing too much cardio. And you can say yes to, understanding what your body needs, gaining strength, gaining muscle, seeing that body composition, feeling better performance, better confidence. The list can go on and on. And then here are the benefits of the Fit Frontliner Elite Partnership Program. So I'm going to run you through these just to give you a brief understanding. So inside of the program, I give you, tons and tons of value here. So I'm basically going to give you the shortcut to the body and results you want. I create a lot of stuff that is done for you right inside of my Fat Burner Blueprint. I'm going to create meal guides on foods and show you how to manipulate the foods that you're currently eating in order to reach your goals. So that is tied into, right, inside of the 20-minute body bundle. So if you want to work out 10, 15, 20 minutes, we can incorporate that. If you want to work out at home in the gym, all that stuff. My goal for you is to understand, you don't need hours and hours and hours at the gym to see results, because I have clients every single week having amazing results with a very limited schedule, crushing fat loss, crushing weight loss. They're dropping it they're telling me it's unbelievable because they're eating more and they're losing weight and they're losing inches. Right? You get access to the Fit for Life formula. So basically, like I said, teaching you how to maintain it long term, and then essentially giving you all those updates after your program is complete. That way, when you go in and access it, you'll see all the new updates and you'll be like, wow, I don't ever need anything ever again. I don't need to Google anything or YouTube or try to sign up with another coach, because I have all of the answers right here for the rest of my life. Next is your HotBod hotline, and what that is saying, basically you have the ability to text me with any questions. I give all my clients, my personal cell phone number. That way, We can connect. We can ensure that like their questions are answered in a timely fashion. I'm not someone that wants to have clients email me and then get back to them 28 to 48 hours later. I'm on top of my clients. They have a very crazy schedule, and I understand that, and I want to make sure that they get what they need when they need it. You'll have access to the Frontline Fitness family. That is our community where we have our own chats, we have our own trainings, and essentially basically a space for us to connect. My secret society swag, so stuff I'll send out to you, and then Never Get Bored Eating ebook. That is also something inside of the course, and I really just wanted to touch on this because it's something I've never found or never came across inside of a fitness program. And that essentially is over 100 different meal guide examples that show you how to eat real food, right? I show clients how to eat Chick-fil-A. I've showed them how to eat wine. I've showed them how to eat chicken nuggets. I've showed them how to eat Oreos. Everything under the book, under the moon, essentially, is inside that book, and it grows because, like I said, you have access to that Fit for Life formula. So every time I include more information, you guys get access, and I show you exactly how to use it, so that way there's no confusion at all. All right, so if you do decide to, step into this, our time together looks like this, right? In 4 months, you'll have all the elements: mindset, nutrition, fitness plan, personalized to you, unique lifestyle, schedule, whatever the equipment you have available to you. And then my goal for you is to help you burn fat, lose 3 to 5 inches from your waist, and up to, like I said, anywhere from 5 to 40 pounds while increasing your energy, feeling stronger, feeling more rested, more confident, happy in your own skin, and essentially feeling like a badass, right? I want you to feel like really fucking good when you look in the mirror and say, hell yeah, I look awesome. And that is my goal for every single person that comes into my program. And really all it comes down to is you just like implementing what I give you. That's literally it. All you have to do is follow the exact blueprint and you'll see results. Because my goal, right, it's to do it in the most effective way possible so you can get twice the results in half the time. Because of those quick fix diets and things like that, I'm going to give you the formula to do it the right way, eat more food, and feel so much better. Because the goal here is to do it sustainably, right? So that way you can keep the results that you want. All right, and again, you don't have to choose between things like this, like skipping meals, cutting out food, feeling super guilty for eating off plan. I teach clients how to eat out. I teach them how to, include foods that they had to cut out for years. So much so that I have clients texting me and saying like, oh my God, I ate this today. And I'm like, that's awesome. Like, I'm really happy for you. Because at the end of the day, that's what's important. And at the same time, she goes, oh, by the way, I'm down 14 pounds. So, and that's, before we still have weeks left inside of her program. So things like that. She's not skipping meals. She's not cutting anything out. I give them like proven methods, right? Inside of the Fit Frontliner Elite Partnership Program to give you the freedom inside of your fitness journey that you have been wanting for years. Because here's the thing. A lot of times we get into our fitness journey and we feel like pushed in a corner, like we have to do it this way, this is the only way, and this, that, and the other thing. I want you to understand that there's more than one way of seeing results, and inside of this partnership program is exactly the freedom I'm going to give you. And essentially, like, it should be the last thing you ever have to worry about is, the last thing I ever want you guys to ever have to worry about saying is no to doing everything because it doesn't fit your diet. Like, how many times, and I remember doing this too, is like, oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can't have that. Oh, no, that doesn't fit my diet. Just always saying no to things. And another thing too is having a coach scold you for posting a night out with your friends, spouse, like on your social media. I have had clients that have told me that in the past. I think it's insane. But you have to understand, like, these coaches, they thrive off of, just doing the most insane things and telling people no all the time so they can say, look what I did inside of my program. My goal for you is for you to walk away feeling really confident on, if this is something that you can do for life sustainably, and of course still really have amazing results, but not to the point where there's a gun to your head saying, like, you have to do it this way and you can't do anything else. That's not fun. That's not fun. That's not how I do my personal fitness. So I wouldn't do, like, do something to put you in that position either. So these are just some of the clients. Like I said, I can do this forever, but these are some client results from people with insane schedules, right? Teachers, nurses, a fire department, dispatching, some people that are even in other professions are in here too. And like I said, I can just run through these really quick. If you want to look at them, you can just pause it. There we go. And I just wanted to point out too, right? When I finally decided to like step into understanding my fitness and my workouts, I went from something that could barely squat 135 to essentially squatting, right, 225, like making it feel easy. Boom, up, let's go, right? Pressing 130, pressing my own body weight over my head. You know what? For a lot of people, just doing like a press like this that aren't doing CrossFit all the time, that's pretty, that's something that a lot of people struggle to do. You can't just walk down the street and be like, can you press your own body weight over your head, right? Increasing my pull-ups. I'm going to fast forward this because I've been doing these forever. You know what I mean? Getting stronger in the upper body. And then essentially, too, like increasing my deadlifts to a point where I was really pulling some weight. And for a lot of you, things like this are really important inside of your profession because you need to be really strong. You need to be fit. You need to be able to perform. And if you're struggling to do a lot of these things, it might be time for you to step into a program that's going to show you the exact ways to do it without being overly extreme, and so on and so forth. All right, so like I said, it's time to understand what you need to fuel your body as someone that works long shifts. It's time to become a stronger version of yourself, to stop stressing and living in that diet mentality because it's not working. And it's keeping you stuck, and it's not having you progress, right? We see so much on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, on how people are doing X, Y, and Z to get results, and you might have tried that stuff in the past, and maybe it's not working, or maybe it worked for a second, and you're like, I can't stick with this. So the goal here is to teach you exactly what you need for you, right? Not for somebody else, not for me, not for, the person sitting next to you, for someone that actually, is going to be personalized for you. All right, so here is, this is what's going to take you to the next level. I want you to apply now. What you're going to do is going to click on the button below, right? It's going to be right underneath the video. Step 2, once you click on the button, you're going to be redirected, all right, to fill out a form so that way I can learn a little bit about you. I need to know, like, your current fitness goals, what you're doing, where you're struggling, your age, your height, your weight, like all that stuff so I can get a really good background because on step 3, I want you to pick a good time and a date for us to do a consultation. That way I'm going to be able to actually talk to you, right? Again, that's a really big thing I don't see a lot of in fitness is, sitting with someone face to face to like actually understand where their issues are, where they've maybe done some things in the past, and then just kind of dive into that. That way we can go over some questions, get a good sense of your needs, and then again, just talk about the program to ensure it's going to be a really good fit for you. All right, so that is essentially the breakdown there. And if you aren't sure, you really need a good sense of something. Below the apply button is another button where you can shoot me a text, right? It'll be my business phone. So I will get back to you when I can. It's not automated. It's going to be me. But you can shoot me a text. Let me know your name. Let me know like a little bit of information about you so I'm not blindsided on who's texting me. But just let me know. That way we can talk a little bit more and essentially find out if it'd be a good fit for you. And then again, same thing. Get you on a consultation call. That way we can dive into things further. All right, so thank you so much for watching this, and have a good rest of the day.